case of guilt is a healthy thing when we've sinned. Pastor Todd here with a devotional for December 31st. Garrison Keillor said, "Guilt is a gift that keeps on giving. Those who appreciate most the gift of God's forgiveness are those who have felt most deeply the guilt of their sins." The great British preacher of a century ago, Charles Spurgeon, went through 5 years as a child of feeling intense guilt before he was saved. He goes on for a whole chapter in his autobiography describing the agony of those years. Here's a brief summary. "When but young in years, I felt with much sorrow the evil of sin. My bones waxed old with my roaring all the day long. Day and night God's hand was heavy upon me. I hungered for deliverance, for my soul fainted within me. I feared lest the very sky should fall upon me and crush my guilty soul. God's law had laid hold upon me and was showing me my sins. If I slept at night, I dreamt of the bottomless pit, and when I awoke, I seemed to feel the misery I had dreamed. Up to God's house I went. My song was but a sigh. To my chamber I retired, and there with tears and groans I offered up my prayer without a hope and without a refuge. For God's law was flogging me in its 10-thonged whip, and then rubbing me with brine afterwards, so that I did shake and quiver with pain and anguish, and my soul chose strangling rather than life, for I was exceeding sorrowful." Today, we'd probably take such a boy to a counselor to find out what was wrong with him. But God was preparing a man to preach the wonders of His grace. Until we feel the burden of guilt, we can't truly exclaim with David, "How blessed is he whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered." The burden of our guilt should drive us to seek the blessings of forgiveness. Maybe some here are tormented by guilt. Perhaps no one knows about your sin, and although you're trying to put up a good front, deep down inside you're troubled. Don't shrug it off or explain it away. Let it drive you to the cross where you'll know God's boundless mercy.